Hi, my name is Dave with Greenleaf Basketball Hoops. We get a lot of questions asked, how do the Ironclad basketball hoops compare to Pro Dunk and Mega Slam? Today we're going to show you some of those differences. On the left here, we have the Mega Slam 60 compared to the Ironclad FCH 60 inch. Both of these units are full court view and are very similar. On the right here, we have the Ironclad TPT 60 inch and the Pro Dunk Gold 60 inch. Both of these units are H structure backboards, and we're going to compare both of those today. As you can see, both the Mega Slam and the Pro Dunk, they get delivered to you at the end of your driveway on these pallets. It's your job to move these units up into your garage or wherever you're going to store them. So unless you have a tractor or some way of moving these, it's a very difficult task to move. With the Ironclad and Greenleaf basketball hoops, we take care of all the moving for you. We only deliver the product when we're going to assemble it at that time. We take care of all the pallets and all the trash. You are hands off. You don't have to move it at all from the end of your driveway. So first we're going to start by unpackaging them and see what's inside all the boxes. Alright, here you can see we have all of our systems all unboxed. Got rid of all the garbage. We get everything laid out. Here you can see we have our Mega Slam 60 full court, and we have our Ironclad 60 full court, and then we have our Ironclad H-Frame 60 and the Pro Dunk H-Frame 60. These are the four systems we're going to compare, and we're going to go through all the parts. First we're going to start with the anchor bolts. Alright, here's all our anchor kits all laid out in the same order we've been going through: Mega Slam, Ironclad, Ironclad, and Pro Dunk. Alright, the first thing you can see here, you got the Mega Slam and the Ironclad. The Mega Slam, you can see, has got a much thinner anchor bolt compared to the Ironclad. You might think not a big deal, but say this gives you 1/100th of an inch of play, doesn't sound like very much. But when you add up 100 inches out to the rim, that's a full inch of bounce. So that can add up to be a big problem. Next we'll go over here, we can compare our H-frame systems. The Ironclad versus the Pro Dunk. Well, you can kind of see there's really not much comparison there. Also, you'll notice when you step on this, see it doesn't bend. Then you step on the Pro Dunk, see how the system bends and things move together. When you place it in the concrete, it causes your bolts not to be straight up and down, which can cause an installation problem later. Alright, next we're going to compare our poles. First we'll start with the Mega Slam here on the right, and on the left is the Ironclad. Mega Slam advertises they have a 5-gauge pole. Ironclad says 7-gauge pole. That's on the inside. On the outside, we can see that they look very, very similar. Mega Slam also adds 4 extra gussets, 1 on each side. As you can see, the base plates are the same. And then you'll see where everything attaches to the back of the pole. Here's the Mega Slam. And then over here we can see on the full court, they're exactly the same. Alright, next we're going to go down to our H brackets. Here we got the Ironclad, same attachment on the back. And then here on the Pro Dunk, you can see it's much smaller. We got about 2 3/4 inches versus 4 full inches. That's a big difference in strength right there. The Pro Dunk, I will add, they advertise their pole as a 5-gauge versus the Ironclad 7-gauge. Now you'll notice another thing here, the thickness on these base plates. The full court's still a 1/2 inch here, but here we go considerably thinner. Another thing you'll notice is when we put a level here tight, see how straight that is? We put that same level tight on the Pro Dunk, you can see how bent and warped their base plates are. Makes the installation very tough. And that's just a sign of kind of how all the Pro Dunk stuff is put together. All right. Next, we're going to compare the support arm on the way up. Here you can see we've laid out our 4 lower support arms. First, we'll start by comparing our full court systems, the Mega Slam versus the Ironclad. You'll see here, first thing you'll notice, the Mega Slam support arm is about 10 inches shorter than the Ironclad. That's because with the Ironclad, you get a 4 foot overhang versus the Mega Slam only gives you a 3 foot overhang. We also noticed when we were carrying them, the Mega Slam is considerably lighter than the Ironclad. So we decided to weigh them. The Mega Slam came in at 42.4 pounds versus the Ironclad 67.4 pounds. That's a big difference for only being 10 inches longer. Next you will see our H-frame system. We have the Ironclad versus the Pro-Dunk system. You'll notice right away that the Ironclad is 62 pounds versus the Pro-Dunk 58 pounds. And you will also notice the construction on the width-wise. One is considerably bigger than the other, which might explain the weight difference. Also, you'll see that the Ironclad has a bump pad right back here, an extra safety bump for that 7.5 foot safety stop pin that's on all of these systems. You'll also notice the oversized ears on the Ironclad system and the reinforced grommets, which help keep this from wearing away. On the Pro-Dunk, you got smaller ears and no reinforced grommet. You will also notice how this is welded straight on this side, that ear, and then when we flip it over, you'll notice this ear is not welded straight. What this does is it causes the backboard to hang crooked and have the pole straight. So you have a system that's partially straight with a crooked backboard. That's very common on Pro-Dunk. We see it all the time. It's just another quality issue Pro-Dunk has. Next, we will compare our upper support arms. All right, here you can see we got all our upper support arms laid out. First, we're going to compare the full court upper arms. See the Mega Slam versus the Ironclad. Huge difference. Look at the size. You can't even compare. The Mega Slam ones are 14.8 pounds. The Ironclad, you get 28 pounds. There's no comparison there. Next, we'll go to the H-frames. The Ironclad versus the Pro-Dunk. Here you can see they're a lot more similar, but the Ironclad is 20.8 pounds versus 19.4. A couple other differences you might notice is here we got this little extension here that lines the upper arm up with the lower arm, so they're both horizontal with each other, or vertical right above each other. Also, you'll see the Pro-Dunk, it's got these little tabs that fall out. I don't know why you'd want that tab there like that. All right, next we're gonna go on to the backboard. All right guys, now we're gonna go through our backboards. First, we're gonna compare our full court system, the Mega Slam versus the Ironclad. You'll see the systems, they look exactly the same. They're obviously built in the same factory. The only difference you can see is Ironclad gives you the full 42 by 60 backboard. You get the full regulation height. On the Mega Slam, you only get 36 by 60. They kind of short you a little bit. But if you look at the rest of it, every bolt's the same, all the rest of the welds are the same. They're exactly the same except for the size. Next, we're going to go on to our H-frame systems. Here we got the Ironclad and the Pro-Dunk over here. You'll see we got, on the Ironclad again, you'll see another big difference. 42 by 60 versus the Pro-Dunk 36 by 60. They also short you on that. You'll see that the Ironclad, everything's bolted with nuts put on there to hold it, lock nuts. Everything's going to be held tight with lock nuts and bolts. These here are a little bit beefier with the arm support on. And you see the pads, how nice they fit. Nice and flush all the way around. We go over to the Pro-Dunk, and you'll see here we just got the bolt going into threaded metal, no lock nuts to keep things tight. You'll see the pads, they don't fit real well here. Also, you'll see a lot more scratches when you get to the Pro-Dunks. and everything's just a little bit thinner and weaker looking. I don't know what's up with that. So that's our big differences in the backboards, is the size and quality of the Ironclads. Alright guys, next we have the assist springs. The job of these is they assist the crank with all the weight. These backboards are very heavy, and these help out do the work, save the crank, save your arm, just makes the job easier. First we're going to look at this. You can see the Mega Slam and the Pro Dunk each give you one assist spring, where the Ironclads give you two. So they give you double the strength, which makes it just that much easier to crank up and down, and makes the whole system last longer. Also, you'll notice the Mega Slam and the Ironclads, I think they're made in the same factory. I think you would agree too. They look exactly the same. Now the Pro Dunk looks to be exactly the same, but it is a little bit different. Here's the only difference we have been able to find. As you can see, the sleeve here for holding this, the Pro Dunk is quite a bit smaller. It's a lot smaller bolt, where the Ironclad and the Mega Slam, they use a sleeve and a bolt to help hold these together. A lot better system than just one little bolt. All right, next we're going to go on to the cranks. The Mega Slam and the Ironclad. These cranks are identical. We could not find a difference except for the handles. You'll see the Mega Slam handle is considerably shorter than the Ironclad. Again, making the Ironclad easier to operate. Also, both these cranks have removable handles. You can pull the pin, remove it, and you don't have people playing around with your system. Like when you go on vacation or gone, or you just don't want nobody messing with it. Next, we'll go to the Ironclad versus the Pro Dunk again. Here we can see some differences. This Ironclad is the same as the other Ironclad in the Mega Slam, and here's the Pro Dunk. You'll see when we take them apart, the Ironclad comes with a lot more grease in the system versus the Pro Dunk. It's a lot more lubed on where it goes, and you'll see the parts are a lot bigger and beefier on the Ironclad versus the Pro Dunk. You'll also notice the Pro Dunk, they do some chrome in. Ironclads, everything's painted. And the handle on the Pro Dunk is permanently attached, and you have to have a padlock to keep people from playing with it. Versus Ironclad, which is removable. So we got a beefier system, a lighter system. Here you need an extra padlock. Here you just can remove the handle. Easy to do. Next we'll watch how these systems operate. First, you can see here, when you turn the Ironclad, silent, smooth operation. When we go to the Pro Dunk, a little noisier, and it kind of catches in spots. Not as smooth or as well built. See how kind of everything jiggles in there? And here, no jiggle. Everything's nice and tight. We've seen these systems fail before we even get them out of the box. Big difference in quality here. And when you got to replace these, you got to call Pro Dunk up and you got to replace it yourself. When you buy an Ironclad, you call your dealer up like Greenleaf Basketball Hoops. We just take care of the whole process for you. But we've never had one of these cranks fail. Big difference. Next, we're going to go on to the pads. Alright, here you can see we got all our pads laid out. You can see that the Mega Slam and the Ironclad pads are all exactly the same. We cannot find a difference. They all got the nice stitching, thick 2-inch padding in there, the nice Velcro that lines up to hold them on there. I mean, these are a nice quality, custom looking pad. Then we go over to the Pro Dunk, and I don't know what this is. There's no padding on the corner. This is like throwing a wet diaper on the bottom of the pole. Not going to do much for you. Look at the top of it, and there's not much here. I don't know what this is. It's just not the same quality you get from a nice system. Next, we're going to go on to the hardware, the bolts that hold this whole system together. Alright guys, here you can see we got all our bolt kits. This is the nuts and bolts that hold the whole system together. If you look a little closer here, you see the Mega Slam and the Ironclad. They obviously look like they probably came from the same factory. We got a few different sizes of bolts. Some parts of the system are going to require a heavier bolt than other parts. You also see we got metal washers Plus we got plastic washers to go between the moving parts. This keeps the items from scratching and rusting. It just makes everything last longer and look better. We go to the Pro Dunk. Every bolt is pretty much the same size. And you'll notice no washers of any kind. That means everything's gonna rub and scratch, and it's not gonna look nice in the long run, and it just won't last as long. Next, we're gonna go on to the rims. All right, here you can see we got all of the rims lined up. We'll go through all the differences on these. First, we're gonna compare our full court systems. So here we can see the Mega Slam and the Ironclad. They're built pretty much the same. The only difference is in the net. The Ironclad uses the more free-flowing older style attachment, where the rope has got two 90-degree turns on here, which helps it last a lot longer. The Mega Slam has gone to the newer style over this thin wire, which just seems to be a wear point now, where the nets wear out. You'll see that they're built the same, and you'll see that they both use the carriage bolts. The carriage bolt system for attaching the rim is a lot easier than a nut and a bolt, because you only need one wrench to put this on, and it's a whole lot easier to do. Next, we're going to go on to the Ironclad and the Pro Dunk systems. The Ironclad H-frame is just like the full court, same net attachment system. The Pro Dunk uses similar to the Mega Slam, except they use a plastic rim here, which might make the net last longer, but this plastic tends to break. You'll see their springs are set up a little bit, they're a little bit bigger springs, and then they use a nut and bolt system, so you're going to need 2 wrenches to attach that rim. All right, we're here to do our recaps. First, we're going to start with the full court systems. First of all, the Mega Slam is going to come shipped to you and dropped off at the bottom of your driveway. You need to haul the 600 plus pounds to wherever you're going to store it. The Ironclad, we take care of all that for you. You don't have to deal with it. Next, we're going to go on to the main pole of the system. You'll see that the Mega Slam, they advertise a thicker pole and more gussets than the Ironclad. However, that's where Mega Slam's benefits end. When you go to the Ironclad, you end up with a thicker base kit, which is the heart of the whole system and making it sturdy. You're going to end up with a bigger backboard, which is 42 by 60 versus the Mega Slam little 36 by 60. Regulation height on the Ironclad, not on the Mega Slam. The bottom control arm, you get 4 feet of extension reach on the full court. On the Ironclad, you only get 3 feet on the Mega Slam. And the Ironclad weighs nearly twice as much as the Mega Slam support arm. Big difference. Then our upper support arms. Again, the full court were nearly twice the size of the Mega Slams. Big, big difference. Then the other advantage on the Ironclad is you get 2 assist springs versus 1, making the whole system easier to use and last longer. The pads and hardware on these are equal, but with the Ironclad, you get the advantage of a dealer dealing with the freight, dealing with the warranty issues. If something comes scratched, bent from shipping, the Ironclad dealer is going to take care of that for you. And when you buy from an Ironclad dealer, you're also going to get a package price for your installation, making the whole process a lot cheaper and smoother and done right for you. Next, we're going to go on to our H systems. All right, we are here to recap our H-frame systems, the Ironclad versus the Pro Dunk. The Pro Dunk pole was a little thicker pole. However, the base plate was considerably thinner and it wasn't even flat. The backboards, the Ironclad gives you the regulation height backboard, far better, plus the construction of the backboard, everything is put together with lock nuts and bigger parts. It just looks a lot cleaner, a lot better system. The pads are all put on there nice, no bubbly weird things going on. The lower support arms, the Ironclad is about double the size you get with the Pro Dunk. The pads, there's no comparison. I don't even know why Pro Dunk bothers sending pads. Those are terrible. The anchor kits, the Ironclad is about twice the anchor kit you get with it. That's a big deal when it comes to how much the system moves. You get two lift assist springs with the Ironclad, only one with the Pro Dunk. And then finally we get to the crank. The Pro Dunk crank is starting to fall apart. It's kind of junky compared to the Ironclad cranks. Far, far superior. And I think that covers our recap. Stay tuned for our other videos.